Hello everyone, I am Nalinikanth. My rule number is 19EC01005. Today we are going to have a brief discussion on waveform generation and MATLAB GUI, the second experiment of Signals and Systems Lab. Before starting the experiment, we need to know about continuous and discrete signals. Continuous signal. Continuous signal is a continuous function of time defined on real line R. It is denoted by S of t, where t is time. A continuous signal is also called as an analog signal. Discrete signals. Discrete signal is a time series consisting a sequence of quantities. A discrete signal is not a function of continuous argument. It can be obtained by sampling of continuous time signal. Now moving on to experiment. The aim of our experiment is to generate waveforms of elementary signals such as unit step signal, sinusoidal signal, etc. and also to use MATLAB GUI to generate these waveforms. In the first part of our experiment, we are asked to plot continuous and discrete signals of the elementary signals. Our first elementary signal is unit step signal. As we all know, in a unit step signal, amplitude of y of x before x is equal to 0 is 0 and after x is equal to 0 is 1. There is an inbuilt function called unit step in MATLAB to use the unit step signal. As we can see in the section creating input variables, I have used function unit step is equal to x greater than or equal to 0 and I have taken the range of x as minus 100 to 100. I used subplot to plot both the continuous and discrete signals. In discrete signals, I used stem function instead of plot. Now clicking on run, we will get the functions. This is unit step signal for continuous values and this is unit step signal for discrete values. Our next elementary signal is a rectangular signal. To create a rectangular signal, I used three input variables: x, an array containing elements from minus 100 to 100, n contains number of elements in x, y, an array of zeros of size n by 1, and I also used a for loop and if else end statements. If x of I is less than minus 1, y of I is 0. If x of I is greater than 1, then y of I is equal to 0. Else y of I is equal to 1. I used subplots to plot both continuous and discrete time functions of a rectangular signal. By clicking on run, we can see the functions. This is rectangular pulse function for continuous time. This is rectangular pulse function for discrete time. Our next elementary signal is signum signal. As we all know, in a signum signal, y of x before x is equal to 0 is minus 1 and after x is equal to 0 is 1 and at x is equal to 0 it is 0. I used similar code which was used in rectangular signal. Now if we click on run, we can see the output. This is signal for continuous time and this is signal for discrete time. Our next elementary signal is ramp signal. In the ramp signal, y of x is equal to 0 before x is equal to 0 and y of x is equal to x after x is equal to 0. To create a ramp function, I used two input variables x and ramp and also a MATLAB function unit step. X is equal to minus 10 to 10, unit step is equal to x greater than or equal to 0, ramp is equal to x into unit step. With this, we can obtain y of x is equal to 0 before x is equal to 0 and y of x is equal to x after x is equal to 0. By clicking on run, we can see the output. As we can see, ramp for continuous time and ramp function for a discrete time. Our next elementary signal is sinusoidal function. As you can see, y equal to sine of 2 pi x. Note that time period of this function is 1 second. By clicking on run, we can see the functions. These are continuous and discrete time functions of sinusoidal signal. Our next elementary signal is exponential function. As you can see, I have considered a function y is equal to a into e power bt. For a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 1, y will be increasing, and for a is equal to 1 and b is equal to minus 1, y will be decreasing. By clicking on run, we can see the output. As you can see, these are the four functions which we obtained for exponential function increasing continuous and discrete time, for exponential function decreasing continuous and discrete time. Our next elementary function is cos theta plus I sin theta, which can be also written as e power I theta. I have considered a function y is equal to a into e power b I theta, where a and b are 1. I have used plot 3 function to plot time, real part of y and imaginary part of y. By clicking on run, we can see the output of functions. These are the two graphs for continuous time and discrete time. Our next elementary signal is causal exponential function, in which y of x is equal to 0 before x is equal to 0 and y of x is equal to e power x after x is equal to 0. You can see the code over here. I have considered a function y is equal to a into e power bt, where a and b are 1, and I have taken range of time as 0 to 5. By clicking on run, we can get the output. These are the two graphs for continuous time and discrete time. Our next elementary signal is unit impulse function. In a unit impulse function, y of x is equal to 0 before x is equal to 0 and y of x is equal to 0 after x is equal to 0, and let x is equal to 0, it has a finite value. In this experiment, I have taken that value as 1, which can be anything. Note that the area under the curve, under the graph of impulse function is 1. By clicking on run, we can get the output. Note that area under this graph is 1, and these two are the graphs for continuous and discrete time of a unit impulse function. In the next part, we are asked to create a soft waveform of time period 3. To create a soft waveform, I have considered an array T starting from -15 and ending at 15, containing n elements, where n is equal to 5000. And then I have also created T2 is equal to modulo T comma 3. With this, I am mapping all the elements in T to T2. And then I have created an array y equal to zeros of 1 comma n, which is a zero array of size 1 by n. In the next step, I have written that y of t2 less than or equal to 3 by 2 is equal to t2 of t2 less than or equal to 3 by 2, which means y of t2 is equal to t2 if t2 is less than or equal to 3 by 2. Similarly, in the next step, I have written that y of t2 is equal to minus 3 plus t2 if t2 lies between 3 by 2 and 3. Now, if we run the program, we can see the graphs. These are the two waveforms. These are the two saw waveforms for continuous and discrete time. In the next part, we are asked to create a pulse waveform whose time period is t and the length of the pulse is t by 4. The initial part of the code, that is assigning input variables, is similar to that of saw function. And next, y of t2 is equal to 1 if t2 is less than or equal to pi by 4, and y of t2 is equal to 0 if t2 lies between pi by 4 and pi. By clicking on run, we can see the output. Here, the time period of the pulse function is taken as pi and the length of the pulse is pi by 4. In the next part, we are asked to create a square waveform of time period t. I have taken the time period as pi. The initial part of the code, that is creating input variables, is similar to that of saw function, and y of t2 is equal to 1 if t2 is less than or equal to pi by 2, and y of t2 is equal to minus 1 if t2 is between pi by 2 and pi. By clicking on run, we can get the output. This is the square waveform whose time period is pi. In the next part, we are asked to create a triangular waveform whose time period is t. I have considered the time period t as pi. The initial part of the code, that is assigning input variables, is similar to that of saw function. And next, y of t2 is equal to t2 if t2 is less than or equal to pi by 2, and y of t2 is equal to pi minus t2 if t2 is between pi by 2 and pi. By clicking on run, we can see the graph. This is the triangular waveform of time period pi. In the next part, we are asked to create a sinusoidal wave function of time period 1 millisecond. So I have considered a function y is equal to sine of 2 pi into 1000 into x, so that time period becomes 1 millisecond. By clicking on run, we can see the graph. This is the sinusoidal function of time period 1 millisecond. In the next part, we are asked to add three sinusoidal functions y1, y2, y3 whose amplitudes are 1, 0.7, 0.5 respectively, and frequencies are 100 Hz, 250 Hz and 500 Hz respectively. So I have considered three functions y1, y2, y3. y1 is equal to sine of 2 pi into 100x, y2 is equal to 0.75 into sine of 2 pi into 250x, y3 is equal to 0.5 into sine of 2 pi into 500x, and then I have added all three functions and assigned it to a new variable y. Y is equal to y1 plus y2 plus y3. By clicking on run, we can see the graph. This is the output signal y. In the next part, we are asked to multiply two sinusoidal functions y1 and y2 whose amplitudes are 1 and 0.5 and their frequencies are 125 Hz and 1000 Hz. y1 is equal to sine of 2 pi into 125x, y2 is equal to 0.5 into sine of 2 pi into 1000x. Y is equal to y1 into y2. Note that multiplication performed here is element wise multiplication. By clicking on run, we can see the output signal y. This is the output signal y. Moving on to part 2 of our experiment, we are asked to create a MATLAB GUI to view the generated waveforms of questions in part 1. I am using an app designer to make a MATLAB GUI. There are two views in an app designer. First one, designer view, where we make the design of our GUI. As you can see here, I have used a graph, a drop down box, a light and a switch in design view, and next view is code view. In code view, we write the background code for our GUI. In designer view, we have component library where we get the components. Using these components, we can make our design of GUI. We have many components in the component library. As you can see, this is the component library which lies towards the left of the screen. We have access, push button, drop box, lamp and etc. These components will be very useful in designing the. Moving towards the right of the screen, we have component browsers where we can change names of the components, style, background properties like color and etc. in the component browser. As you can see, there are many options such as position, plotting, mouse pointer, interactivity, etc. We can also rename the components by right clicking on their current name. For example, here I am trying to change the name of signal. I have right clicked on signal. Like this, we can change the names of components. Here I have already created a design view of this for the GUI. This is the design view. I have used several components from the component library such as axis, push button which is named as plot, and a drop down list which contains different types of signals, and a switch which toggles between the states continuous and discrete. The lamp used here is to change its color when it is toggled between the states continuous and discrete. If if the switch is towards continuous, then the lamp glows green, and if the switch is towards discrete, the lamp glows blue. And finally, we add callback functions to the existing components to write the background code for the GUI. I have written the callback functions for switch and plot button. I used if else commands to write the callback functions. Here I used strcmp, string compare function and end operator in writing the code. The strcmp function is used to compare the signals in drop-down box and the input signal entered by the user. It is also used to know whether the user asked for continuous or discrete plot. And then in the body, the code which is written is same as the code used in the first question of our experiment. Like this, I have written the code for all functions. and the end operator used here ensures that this condition will be true only when both the strcmp functions, that is string compare functions, are true. Now moving on to the callback function of switch. This is the callback function of switch. Here we can clearly see that if the value entered by the user is continuous, that is if the switch is toggled towards continuous, the color of the lamp is green, and else the color will be blue. That is, when the switch is toggled towards the discrete, then the color of the lamp will be green. Now let us run the code and give some input to the function, to the GUI. Let us give the input as sawtooth signal and toggle the switch towards discrete, click plot. We got discrete time signal for the sawtooth signal. Now let us toggle the switch towards continuous and click on plot. Now we got the continuous time signal for sawtooth function. Let us give some other function as input. Let us give real valued exponential signal and click on plot. We got the continuous time graph of e power x. Now let us toggle the switch towards discrete and click again on plot. This is the discrete time graph of the e power x signal. Like this, using this GUI, we can get graph of any type of desired signal. With this, we complete our second experiment.